this video we will discuss the rise of the Napoleon, the height of Napoleon power, how he occupied the European nations, the countries, small and big countries, how he became their person to control it not only with the geographical boundary but also the trade and business. So and all agreement that he made his way for the success that we will discuss in this chapter. So the height of the Napoleon power, it's given in your book. The Treaty of Tilsit marked the height of Napoleon's power in Europe. Why this Treaty of Tilsit is important? Because it was agreement signed between France and first it was signed between France and Russia, first agreement, and the second was signed between the France and the Prussia. Under this Treaty of Tilsit, the Russian country and the Prussian and the other part maybe. So here we need to understand through this treaty, France, Napoleon tried to control the boundary of Russia, and the Prussian used those land to conquer the other part of the Europe. This is what the Treaty of Tilsit mean here. So the Treaty of Tilsit marked the height of Napoleon's power in Europe because he got the help from the Russia, because they were defeated in some or the other way. Some parts were conquered. And next to France were Belgium, Nice, Savoy, Genoa, Dalmatia and Croatia. Napoleon royal authority extended to Holland with Louis Bonaparte as the king. The Confederation of Rhine formed in 1806. Italy, the Kingdom of Westphalia under Jerome Bonaparte, the Grand Duchy of Warsaw, Switzerland. Joseph Bonaparte was made the King of Spain. Russia, Denmark and Sweden were friendly. Only England remained outside his political orbit. The Grand Empire and his allies covered the whole of European mainland except the Balkan. So here when you will go through these land, all these names which you are going through, this Belgium, so all became slowly the part of the France. So they had certain agreement under which they were controlled with the trade, okay, and they cannot do their own business with the Britain themselves independently, okay. So this is what given here, these all country became the part of the France. This is how Napoleon tried to occupy and try to rule over them by certain bondage. This is what given here, okay. Now come to this decline of Napoleon empire. So for the earlier paragraph you have seen how he dominated these countries. Now how the decline started. The Treaty of Tilsit left Napoleon face to face with only one enemy, England. So under the Tilsit, now Russia also became a left ally. Russia, though they don't want to be with France, but unfortunately by force they were with the France, because Russia always wanted to have a trade with the Britain. But since Napoleon tried to overpower Russia, so there was no choice. So they surrendered under the Treaty of Tilsit. The Treaty of Tilsit left Napoleon face to face with only one enemy, that is England. So almost as in the last video I showed you the number of European countries which were nearby the France, they all became the second part of the France, the secondary ally for the France. They were working for the France. Now only one country was there, that is your United Kingdom or Britain. So that was only one bigger enemy of France. The destruction of the French fleet by the British Navy at Trafalgar made Napoleon realize that it would be practically impossible for him to cross English Channel and invade England. So this there was also, you have studied about the France and Britain, how they were bitter enemy earlier also. So this is what here in the certain areas where British defeated France, Napoleon understood it is not an easy task, as he occupied or overpowered the other European country. So it is not easy to overpower the Britain, and because what, English Channel is in between, they have to cross that sea and then only they can occupy or fight with the Britain, and that was very difficult for them. But if he could not cross the channel, he believed that he could, this is what given here, he believed that he could occupy the continent. So now this is what given here, the French people, especially the Napoleon had an idea that physically they cannot go there and overpower there, but with a different technique, with a different method, they can also defeat the Britain. How? He issued a decree. Decree is an official order, okay. So this is what given here, he issued a decree declaring Great Britain to be in the state of blockade. Blockade means, you understand the word blockade, when you don't want anyone to interfere or you be the part of life, you block them, so they will not become. So this is what here, France tried to blockade Britain, that means no country nearby under whom the France they were working, like Prussia, Belgium, Denmark. So all these countries cannot have any kind of a trade relation with the Britain, to boycott. So this is what the blockade. No country in Europe would be allowed to trade with England. This is what given the official decree, that no country of Europe can have any trade relation with the Britain. This was called the continental blockade. So this is called what? Continental. This term has been applied for Britain when they were not allowed to have any trade with the European country. But after the industrial revolution in England, all the countries of Europe depended on her for their necessary commodities. So quite naturally these countries were displeased with the Napoleon and this regarding the continental system. So we have seen in the industrial revolution how Britain was being ahead with when compared to other countries. They had a all machinery effect, so the manufactured item was in demand in all the country, not only in India but the other parts of the world. So they can't just stop have any trade business. So this decree, though France had applied on the other European country, but they were not happy because they knew that this will hamper their all their economic. So that is what they were displeased. Carried on trade with England. So Napoleon declared war against those who violated the blockade. The continental system was partly responsible for Napoleon's downfall. So since the European countries they were displeased with continental system, they cannot have any trade business, so they were not happy with the situation. So then they had certain, they slowly tried to make an effort to raise their voice against France, and that is Napoleon. So they started making the to sort out this problem by making a group against the France. Now coming to the Peninsular War, Napoleon resolved to ruin Portugal. Portugal also I have shown you the map there. So in order, so Napoleon resolved to ruin means to destroy Portugal in order to deprive Britain of harbors and make Portugal a party to the continental blockade. So Napoleon wanted to occupy this area of Portugal so that they can use those area to ruin the Britain, because that harbor, that port was being used for the trade business. Napoleon marched through Spain, but his brother Joseph Bonaparte on the throne of Spain. So Napoleon, he marched through the Spain. All the countries are all together. They can cross geographically from one country. The European countries are all just stick to one another. So this is what Napoleon marched through the Spain. Put his brother. So the brother Joseph Bonaparte was put on the throne to take care of the Spain there. But the Spanish people, they were nationalistic, so they don't want any other person to come and become the master for their country. This is what not they were not happy with the situation that Napoleon did with the Spain. But feeling of strong nationalism had made the Spaniard carry on war against Napoleon. So here the Spain people also came against the Napoleon because they don't want the brother of the Napoleon to rule on the Spain. The British army had landed in Portugal and from there helped the Spanish insurgents. So now Spain got the help from the British. How? The British army, they landed on the Portugal port area. Okay, so now they came and they revolted against the France to save what? To whom? Spain. It was there that Napoleon suffered his first serious opposition on land. So this is what here the Napoleon got the again it was because of the British help that the Spain was now on the top against the France. Earlier they had no idea to fight the France, but because of the British they got a certain support. So this is what large French forces were kept occupied in Peninsula at a time when Napoleon was in need of them elsewhere in Europe. So Napoleon had to face here direct problem with the British on behalf of Spain. So here one thing it is said that this time when Napoleon could have used the army to fight in other part of the Europe to conquer the world. So but then he was busy in fighting with the British against the Spain. So this was one of the reason for the downfall of the France. The Peninsular War dragged on the rest of his reign. Napoleon later on blamed the Spanish ulcer for his downfall. So this is what it is declared as this is Spanish ulcer, where Napoleon could have focused on the other part of the European world, but then he had to fight against the British in order to occupy Spain. But then it was a big defeat. The Russian campaign. Now this is another topic where how Russia, though under the Treaty of Tilsit, now he came just out of it. The Russian Tsar Alexander was suffering from the continental blockade. So now Russia always wanted to have a trade with the Britain, but because of this continental blockade, he or the Russian people had always problem. So they refused to cooperate with the Napoleon and opened her ports to Britain's ships. So now they came forward and very clearly said that we cannot continue this continental blockade. We cannot agree with this kind of a treaty. So we are going to have. So now this made the Napoleon very angry. So with a grand army of 3,25,000 men, Napoleon attacked Russia at the end of June 1812. So this is what here. So when these Russia they continue to go against this France using and disapproving continental blockade. So France, the Napoleon tried to control Russia, so they came with the huge army in the Russian land. Napoleon's Russian campaign proved to be his doom. How? His army reached Moscow but stayed there for too long. So what happened in Russia? We know the winter is very bitter one, very cold one. So they had to remain in Russia for longer period of time. And what happened? Alexander, it's not given there, but the king, the Tsar, asked his peasant to destroy all the crops. So wherever the soldiers of Napoleon were marching, though they did not have any food to have there, so that was also one of the reason. The bitter Russian winter had set in. His very soldiers had to retreat. So in that bitter winter, they could not fight. So they tried to get back. So the retreating army, harassed by peasant and guerrilla, perished in large number in the bitter cold. So that was a fight, the guerrilla warfare. So they had a straight way fight with the common people there, and that was a big loss for the Napoleon soldiers. To embark on so vast an undertaking in the east while England remained unconquered in the west was a mistake. So this is what given. Again, Britain took the benefit where Napoleon was busy with the Russia. Now revolt in Prussia. In Prussia too, a nationalist reaction developed against Napoleon. Prussia is also the nearby neighbor country. So now here also the people there, they had a nationalistic view. They don't want any foreign power to overrule them. So the Prussian army was overhauled. A patriotic movement across among the student and intellectuals. So as in India, you have seen how there was a nationalistic view and there was a revolt against the British. So was there in the Prussia. Napoleon's harsh treatment toward the Pope aroused opposition from Catholic everywhere. So Napoleon had a very wrong treatment with the Pope of the Vatican in Rome. Okay, so now since we love our all the kind of those gurus, and also the Pope is the head here among the Christians. So now when Pope was misbehaved or treated badly, so the people there had an emotional touch with the Pope. They got against with the French, especially the Napoleon. So that around arose opposition from the Catholic everywhere. So this was the moment for the enemy power to unite and start the battle of the nation. So now all the Christians got together against the France, and that was against the Napoleon. The formation of coalition. Now this helped all the enemy party, all the ally, all the opposite party to go together, to get together against whom? The France. England, Prussia, Russia, Austria formed a coalition. Coalition means against a group. In this war of liberation, Napoleon was defeated. So all they got together against whom? The France. So Napoleon was defeated at Leipzig in 1813 and again at the Battle of Paris. So there were so many fights there, and Napoleon was ultimately defeated. Napoleon abdicated and was sent to Elba by the Treaty of Paris. The old Bourbon monarchy was restored in France. So when Napoleon was defeated, Napoleon was put and sent to the Elba, that is under the treaty. And then by that time, France, what happened in the France? These countries got together and they set the monarchic, the king's rule over there, which was overthrown earlier in the last chapter which you have read. Now coming to this, Napoleon made another attempt to recover his empire. He escaped the Elba and landed the France. Okay, so this is how he escaped. He ran away from that island, and then he was received with a tremendous enthusiasm. However, he was ultimately defeated in the Battle of Waterloo. This is what given here. So this is the last attempt which Napoleon applied or tried, but he was not able. The 100 days rule of Napoleon came to an end. This is how this was the end. This time Napoleon was exiled to a far away island of St. Helena, where he died in 1821. So this is the end of the story, where Napoleon could not do anything else after that. Now coming to the Napoleon's impact on Europe, Napoleon's Europe conquest led to the spread of two ideas. The first was the idea of freedom, and the second was the nationalism. So we have seen how he gave the idea of liberty, that is the freedom, and second the love for the country, that is the nationalism. When Napoleon and his armies invaded other countries in Europe, they carried with them revolutionary idea of liberty and equality. This is what, wherever these army went to the different land, so they showed their love towards the France, and this love for the nation, this was also given to the other country. The people of the other country also got this idea, they got inspired, and they also started loving to their country. Napoleon, through his conquests, had built up a huge European empire. He came to a power at a time when the idea of liberty, equality and fraternity were well established in France. So he tried to make all the European country under one hand. Napoleon called himself a child of the revolution, so he was a person to make a big change, and that he tried also. He introduced the code of Napoleon and sound administrative system in every country that he conquered. So he made one rule for all the countries together, that he made it like a continental blockade where no country can have a trade business. So that was a common rule for everybody. This is called Code Napoleon. So like that, there were so many rules which he applied for the other countries. Equality before the law and educational opportunities were ensured. So this is all the new things he brought in the wherever he conquered the new land. These were brought there. Career was open to talent, as he was himself a talented person and he came to the top position. So he understood the talent, if that is given the credit, the things can change. Thus Napoleon gave equality to the people of the conquered countries. He extended and perpetuated the effect of the French Revolution in Europe by destroying the feudal privileges. So all those bondage slave system he refused and brought certain new things in the system of bureaucracy. Napoleon also had a growth of nationalism by transforming Italy and Germany into a national kingdom under him. Napoleon fostered the national sentiment among the people. So earlier Germany was divided into different states with a different language. So he tried to bring all the German state under the one country named Germany, and that is all the nationalistic feeling that he brought to the other land also. So this is what all the credit goes to Napoleon. So in this chapter you have studied the rise and the fall of the Napoleon, how he conquered the European country and how he had also to face the difficulty. So please read the chapter and find out all these smaller questions and objectives. Thank you.